Hi everyone, welcome to Fat to Thin Senior RNY. I'm Raven. I was 76 years old when I had my gastric bypass surgery on December 16th, 2019. Medicaid approved the surgery. Last week I talked about the result of my first ever cheat day. In this vlog, I'll be talking about my experiences on the dark side of RNY and some random stuff that keeps running through my head throughout the week. If you're curious, please join me on this journey and continue to watch. Last week I talked about my first ever official cheat day. I learned that the second cheat day wasn't as much fun. It wasn't fun at all, actually. I stressed out on what to eat on that day to take advantage of the day, Should I have skipped it? Should I cook? The decisions were, should I cook? Should I do a delivery? Should I do a pickup? And then there's the cost, And then what am I going to have? Which menu? It was crazy. I stressed over having leftovers after I bought everything. So the second stress day, it was a stress day. The second official cheat day wasn't really enjoyable, I mean, it wasn't like cheating, My next day effort, I'm gonna try this cheat day thing one more time, but this time I'm going to try it on Saturday as instead of Friday, because I find that on Saturday I'm looking for something. Lord knows it must be pounded in my psyche by the various media that the weekend is the time, And I have to remember not to do the cheat day if I don't feel like it. If it's causing me stress and all this other crap, don't do it. Skip it. Skip it for a week. What the heck? I mean, it's not like I've had them before, and it's not, cheat day is not mandatory. I mean, just because I said that I wanted to do a cheat day, it doesn't become the law in my life, Anyway, this week I'm going to talk about the dark side of RNY and what happens with rapid weight loss. First thing you should know is that this is major surgery. This is damn dangerous. You can die. People do die. I mean, they don't expect to die, but they die. You could have any kind of complication. I mean, just amazing amount of complications. Or, forget about COVID, just a regular, ordinary, everyday infection can kill you off. Or just make your life miserable. RNY, any kind of invasive surgery of this type, of any type, is dangerous, okay? Keep that in mind when you're making this decision. It is dangerous. You could die, yes. So, in my case, I prepared all my paperwork and everything else just in case, although I expected to come out of that alive and kicking butt, okay? Speaking about butts, your butt will hurt. Okay, skinny people don't sit down because their butts hurt. Really, I mean, these seats are just absolutely uncomfortable. When you go into places, you really kind of look around and see what, not like when I was fat, what could I fit in? What is going to not hurt my butt so much, Not only that, because your butt hurts so much from sitting down, that you find yourself jumping up to do things because you just can't sit that long. It's not nervous energy, it's pain. Your butt hurts. You gotta get up. You gotta do something. And if you want to call it exercise, call it exercise. I call it cleaning the house. I call it sweeping the yard. I call it, sweeping the concrete, whatever. But you just can't sit. You just can't sit anymore. It's a terrible thing. Anyway, I mean, and that's why when you go to the doctor's office, the really fluffy, comfortable chairs are always taken up by the skinny people. It's because their butts hurt. Yeah, really. I would say that nothing else has changed except that everything has changed. Absolutely everything. Like for instance, the skin problem. Okay, so now I got saggy skin. Problem I had before was fat skin. Okay, so underneath the stomach area, it gets all kind of stinky, and yeah, well, you still got the same problem, believe it or not. It's just that it doesn't weigh as much, and it doesn't stick out as much, and it looks pretty good in clothes, but you still have that same problem with the yeast growing up underneath the skin because it's hanging down, because it's still moist, still get rashes. The good thing is, of course, it doesn't weigh as much and you look good in your clothes. The other thing is you still have to count calories. You still have to measure everything. You still have to check out your portion control. You still got to be on top of it. Always. So, did that change anything? I think it hasn't changed anything. I mean, I'm still measuring. I think I'm more diligent about measuring than I ever was before this operation. But I weigh everything. I measure everything. I can't eat but so much anyway. So, and I got to stay on top of it. An ounce of banana bread has more calories than an ounce of carrots. You know what I mean? So I'm still counting calories, and you'll have to still count calories. You might as well get used to that, because that's going to be there forever, especially at home. And then if you're going to go out to a restaurant or something, you'll find yourself, looking up the menu and the nutritional values and all that kind of stuff, because you have to. You really do. So if you decide not to get this operation, realize that even if you did get this operation, you'd have to do this again. And if you were trying to get this operation so you can avoid doing that, forget it. It ain't happening. You're going to be doing that, You're going to be measuring everything and, checking your eyeballing, because eyeballing grows big time. Anyway, you're either too hot or too cold. Mostly, I don't know what it is, to tell you the truth. I turned the air conditioner off. I turned it on. It's 110 degrees outside, 103, 106 outside. It goes up to, the air conditioner doesn't come on until it's 80 degrees, but sometimes I have to turn it off because it just gets too cold, And I'm still, this is August. This is August. And I'm living halfway between the Death Valley and the Mojave Desert, and I have 3 quilts on my bed because I get cold at night. It's crazy. And then you get hot, and you find yourself sweating all over the place. It's just terrible. Anyway, then there's the cost of new clothing. Not only dresses and the like, or shirts, blouses, skirts, pants, that kind of stuff. Not only the outside stuff like coats, but you have to get new underwear too, and new shoes, everything, absolutely everything. And even going to Goodwill, which I do quite a bit of, I found a friend who must know every single Goodwill within 250 miles of here, and every thrift shop. And I've been hanging out with her. And even so, it's expensive. It's like she, for instance, goes on Wednesdays because Wednesdays is senior day. But on Saturday, anything that didn't sell, whatever tag color that was that week, could be orange, sells for $1. She goes back every Wednesday and checks to see if it's still there on Saturday. Can I tell you, it's still expensive. Okay, So you're going to be spending money. So aside from saving money for this operation, if you have to pay for it, even if you don't, you better save some money for some clothes. People have been telling me, I mean, I saw it, I don't know how many videos, you know, you gotta save some money for some clothes. Save some money for some clothes. I mean, at the very least, some underwear, you know. I've bought bras 3 times already now. This is terrible. Let me tell you about the experiences of my last, 8 months. It doesn't feel like 8 months, but time is just strange these days, you know. Anyway, I spent the first month or so, the first 2 weeks, I remember, I should go look at my own videos, you know, but I vaguely remember that I felt fabulous. I mean, I felt terrific. I was just walking everywhere, going everywhere, doing everything. And everybody kept telling me, slow down. Well, after about 2 weeks or so, I started throwing up. I spent an entire month throwing up. Probably the reason for the rapid weight loss, you know. But I threw up all day long. I'd start, you know, 10 o'clock in the morning whenever I ate my first thing, and threw up until 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. And sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and throw up. I kept a barf bag next to my bed. Drove Rowley crazy because he hates that bag and he hates to see me throw up, and he goes crazy. Anyway, so I was throwing up all the time. I mean, it was embarrassing. I remember I had to go pick up some stuff at the doctor's office, and I had to sit out in the waiting room and wait, and I had this barf bag, and I kept throwing up while I'm sitting there, and you're watching the people move away, you know. That was just before the corona thing came out. But they were moving away because I was throwing up, and I kept saying, oh, no, it's just because I ate something that I'm not sick, I'm just throwing up. Anyway, during that month, protein shakes did stay down. They got to taste nastier and nastier as time went on, and sweeter until the point where they were just totally unbearable, and I cannot stand to look at them now. I've kept them all. I mean, some of the stuff I have hasn't even been opened. I've kept them all because I figure sometime in the future I may get my taste back again, and I could tolerate them, or maybe I could pass them on to somebody else or some such. Anyway, I can't stand them now. I had problems with potassium. Now, low potassium can kill you. Of course, I didn't know that at the time. And I was just feeling slightly dizzy, and it was during that time I was throwing up, you know, that month I was throwing up, and I was feeling dizzy, and thank God that I had a Garmin, this thing here, because that one keeps track of my heart rate and my sleep and all of that kind of good stuff. I got it refurbished, no less, and I've had it for 2 years, refurbished, not bad. At any rate, I was walking one night, and I was just slowly trudging along and barely made it, you know, the 500 feet to the end of to this aisle, and my heart rate went up to 152. I said, that is not right. That's not right. This is not cool. So ultimately, after all of that potassium stuff, I am on metoprolol for irregular heartbeat. I had made, during that month of throwing up and carrying on, I made 2 trips to urgent care. They gave me these pills, must have been the size of my thumb. Actually, they weren't that big, but they were big, you know, to take. And I kept telling him, look, I just had gastric bypass. I can't swallow anything that big. That's how big my stomach is, you know. And he said, okay, I would, you know, give you liquid. And I'd go to the pharmacy, and they'd have it written down as pills. And I'd tell him, no, I can't take those. You know, don't even bother to give them to me. It was crazy. So anyway, I ultimately ended up, after 2 trips to the urgent care, I ended up with 1 trip to the ER and was admitted. I was dehydrated from throwing up, obviously. It didn't, and even though I was drinking a lot of water, I was thrown up from dehydration, and of course I had the potassium problem. My electrolytes were extremely low. I could have died. I could have, if I had waited another day, and not gone to the emergency room, who knows, I could have fallen out in this house and absolutely nobody would have known. At that time, I did not have Rowley, so even a dog barking all day long wouldn't have alerted anyone. This is a dangerous proposition. So the dehydration problem was, you would think that you could drink a lot of water and just get over it. But I don't think the body works quite that way. It makes it a couple of days that you have to keep feeding it watered for it to realize, okay, it's okay. Not only that, your mind. I talk a lot about my mind. I didn't name her because she's not a separate part of me. Your mind becomes very creative in ways to make you want to stay at the status quo weight. It just has decided this is where you're going to be and this is where you should stay. Doesn't like weight loss. The body does not like weight loss at all. So you're going to fight this whole deal, this whole time. And your mind is unbelievable. I mean, some of the things I think might be worth even writing down just because it's so bizarre, okay? I went through a period, too, of being hungry, crazy hungry, at 10 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock at night. I mean, I would be sitting here at 9:59 in the morning, and I'd be working, and I'd be doing, and the next thing I know, my head is like this, going for the refrigerator. The refrigerator's right there, right across from me. And I'm like, and I said, oh, what? And then I go on something else, and I do. And it was crazy. It was crazy. And then my stomach was like tight and gurgling, and I think it was more in my mind than it is in my stomach. And it didn't care. It didn't matter what I put in it, but I had to put something in it now. So I've learned to keep things in the refrigerator, like little chunks of cheese. I'll take one chunk of cheese. And believe it or not, one little 1 ounce chunk of cheese will satisfy that hunger for almost the rest of the day until around 8 o'clock at night. Now, at 8 o'clock at night, it doesn't matter if I ate dinner at 5 o'clock. I have to eat dinner. I have to eat something. I have to eat, I don't know. It seems to be that at 8 o'clock at night, that's where most of my calories come in. And the rest of the day, if I try to eat, because I know that I shouldn't eat before you go to bed and all of that other good stuff, that it doesn't work. So you got to do what your body's saying do. My body says, eat something at 10 o'clock. It doesn't have to be important. I make it important. I make it a protein and, the whole deal. And at night, try and eat lighter. not heavy stuff. You're going to eat at 8 o'clock. You're going to eat at 10 o'clock. Eat correctly. Okay? So, but I've realized, too, that at 10 o'clock and 8 o'clock, that I'm ravenous. I want to eat something. But as soon as I eat something, I'm not hungry anymore. And it's getting to the point where I seem to be going to 11 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night before I actually eat anything, because I remember, I didn't eat anything. So I'm beginning to not be hungry. This is seriously strange. I think this whole conglomerate of crap, mess up stuff, has to do with the way your hormones act. The body doesn't like change. It's just amazing. Anyway, self-sabotage checkup. This time I had a cheat day. I did it Friday, I think it was. I threw out the leftovers this time. I did. I ate what I was going to eat that day, and I just threw the rest of it out. I didn't order a whole lot of stuff either. So, hey. And that Mai Tai that I had bought for my birthday, I threw that out. I took 2 sips of it, decided I liked the taste, but my stomach wasn't happy with it, and so I threw it out. I know it's alcohol abuse, but I threw it down the drain. Down it went, and that's probably my last drink for a very, very, very long time. But I have noticed that I haven't been thinking about food very much this week, and not really thinking about food at all, except stocking up items, so went shopping for my regular stuff. But what I realized this week is that I've been shopping a lot for little things that I don't really need now. $10, $15, whatever. That shit adds up. I had realized that I need to stop that. I'm on a fixed income. I need to. And then where the hell do I put it? I live in an RV. This RV is 26 feet long by 8 feet wide. And it has a slide out, so that gives you another 3.5 feet in the front part. But this is a tiny home. So I need to remember that, And right now I'm trying to figure out where the heck am I going to put my clothes. I just bought a bunch of new stuff, at Goodwill and whatnot. I have no closet space, It's crazy. Anyway, so I got to stop shopping. You should also know that at the beginning of all of these videos, way back when in January, February, whatever, I said I was going to run the Grand Canyon. Then I decided that I couldn't run the Grand Canyon. I can walk the Grand Canyon. I don't think I can walk the Grand Canyon. I don't even know if it's going to be open for registration. I know that a lot of the national parks and state parks, they've closed off the visitor centers, they've blocked off the roads, So I don't know if there's going to be a race or not. And even if it is a race, why in the world, in the midst of all of this COVID-19, would I put myself in a crowd of 1,000 people or 100 people or 50 people? It just doesn't make any sense for me right now. So I'm thinking about doing a virtual run/walk. Actually walk. I'm not running anywhere. my knees, my ankles are not liking this, and as much as I'd like to think that I'm, 35, 40 years old, it ain't happening. So I'm thinking about doing a virtual walk. So I'm going to register. If I register for one, would you want to walk with me? If so, I'll put the link down. It may be next video, because I doubt it'll be this video. I have to find out where I can find one first. Okay, I'm trying to move along here because this video is getting really long. And these are the dark sides of RNY and of losing weight. Okay, mostly it's your mind stuff. You got to stay on top of your mind. Okay, so one of the things here is driving. I got to drive my car, I think it was last Saturday. I ran around with my friend who does the thrift stores and decided this time we're going to drive my car because my car needs to be driven. First of all, they put a full tank of gas in that car when I got it, and that was May 8th. I am just under a half a tank. So it's time to drive the car. And I realized I had no idea where anything was in the car. I tried to wash the windows. I couldn't find the window. It was crazy. We had to go searching around in the car and whatnot. What's the usual place for the windshield wiper fluid and, to turn it on to make the windshield wipers go. It was crazy. And this morning, I realized, oh yeah, I've got to go. I got to stop and put some gas in that car. And I realized I had no idea where to put it in or how the gas tank, how the door opens. I've seen cars where you kind of push on it. Some of them you have to press a button inside. My old car, I had to press a button inside in order for the outside door to open so that you could put gas in. I had no idea, not a clue. So I went outside and took a look. It's a regular door, and you unscrew the little knobby thing. I realized too that I had forgotten how to drive. I mean, I know how to drive, but you know, there are nuances to driving. There are safety techniques. There's habits that you get into that keep you safe, right? I mean, I drove a 35-foot RV towing a full-size car 3,000 miles cross-country from New Hampshire to Nevada. You know, I only drove the car in town because it was old and it finally died. So for about a year after the car died, we didn't have a car. And then I got a new car. Well, I got a beater car for $1,000. And after I registered it and took it to Walmart one day to go grocery shopping, came out with all of these, like 35 bags of groceries, the key would not go into the ignition. So that was a $600 bill to just get the key to go into the ignition on a $1,000 car. And it went downhill from there. And that was the car that I traded in for this car. Now, I had taken it to a mechanic at some point, figuring I need to be assured about this car. And after spending $200, you know, to get them to look over the car and diagnose this and whatever, he told me not to drive it more than a mile. Don't drive it out of town at all. You know. So there I was with this car. So I obviously didn't drive it. I would drive it like once every 2 weeks to go grocery shopping. And that was before Walmart started the grocery pickup thing. So anyway, I got this new car. And I had it, you know, up until, and I've had it, you know, for 2 months now. On my birthday, I thought, well, instead of getting a cheat day or something like that, maybe I'll just drive up to Red Rock Canyon and Lovell Canyon and, you know, take Rowley and go check it out and drive, just to drive. And it's not far, it's an hour, a little less. Well, then I realized, well, Rowley doesn't like riding in the car, and riding with him in the car is still a problem. I have these special things that hook into the seat belt clip to hold him in place and that kind of stuff, but he's still whining and crying, and he's not really happy. So to take him on a long trip like that when he still hasn't gotten used to the car, because I don't drive anywhere, you know, I figured it's best to wait a while. And then, of course, I have the fear of driving. I realized that I was kind of paranoid about driving anywhere outside of town, anywhere outside of any place that I knew where I was, because I was, I guess, afraid the car was going to fall apart, like it would have with the last two cars, you know. So I'm going to take that trip to Red Rock and Lovell Canyons whenever it is they open the visitor center again. Anyway, as for Rowley, the Rowley report. As it turns out, yes, I am Rowley's problem. I am seriously Rowley's problem. I continue to do YouTube searches and Google searches and stuff like that, trying to find out what the heck is going on with him, because he shows absolutely no symptoms of any kind of illness. There's nothing wrong with his teeth. There's nothing, okay? He just wasn't eating, okay? At his age and his size, he's about 17 pounds. He should be fed once a day. That's what they were saying. I don't know why I didn't see that before, but that's what they're saying. I think I was glossing over it because on the cans of dog food, it says feed them twice a day. Well, of course, they're trying to sell dog food. So once a day. And then it said, you know, however much was, I think it was a half a cup. Well, I would add a little something, you know, I'd crack up some dog biscuits in there, or, you know, treats. Well, I caught myself one morning and I realized that he had about a can's worth of dog food in that bowl. I was feeding him too much. He was smarter than I am. Very much smarter than I am. He wouldn't eat it. I would have eaten it. You know, he would not eat it. So I've gotten down to, I feed him once a day. Half a can of dog food, no extra little things in it, no jerky, no kibbles, no nothing in it. And a little bowl of kibbles on the side in case. And he has been fine. He goes up to, when I put his food down now, he goes right over and he eats it. He seems to be happy. What can I tell you? Okay? So I was definitely his problem. See, I was bringing him my bad habits, my eating problems. Foisting it upon him who couldn't say anything about it, you know? So anyway, to sum up, I'm feeling good. I don't have any regrets about this surgery. I think it was the right way for me to go. Absolutely. I feel good both physically and mentally. And I would do it as surgery again. Absolutely, for sure. I would do it sooner if I could get it. But I would do it again. Absolutely. So please like and share, subscribe, comment, and ring the notification bell. Okay? And for those of you who have subscribed, thank you. And don't forget to click show more in the description for some random stuff that I've thrown down in there. Okay? Oh, which reminds me, I did try the soda bottle thing, and it works very well. Absolutely. In fact, the plastic is of a better quality than the not mask, the shield, than the shield that I bought for $5. So if you can, pass it on. If you can translate for the other countries, then please do. We might end up cleaning up our plastic problem this way. Who knows? You know? So take care of you.